So I now want to come back to this point that I asked you to hold your thought earlier on. So this is the triple bottom line message. Back in September, I was at the UK CIO 100 event, and this is where we celebrate the top 100 CIOs in the country. And
you're a judge on that, I believe, aren't you, Freddie?
Yes, and I asked this question of the audience, which are my peers, right? I asked them, have you heard about bottom line? And of course, everybody says, yes, we've all heard about. And what is bottom line? It's about money. It's about revenue.
Profit.
It's about profit.
Yeah.
Easy. Then I asked, have you heard about triple bottom line? In the academic literature, or people who are in this space, they know that very well. But you can see, as a sector, nobody knew about what this triple bottom line is. I was like, not surprised. Why? Because the reason why I know is because I'm doing research. So I'm exposed to the literature. But if I'm not doing research, then that is not a language or something that I relate to. But if I tell you what it is, you realize that everybody needs to know, everybody should know, and therefore everybody can do something about it. So the triple bottom line is that if you ask very commercially minded organization, their triple bottom line is profit, profit, profit.
Yep.
But this triple bottom line is that for organizations to be successful in the long run, it's about making sure that you achieve the balance of the three Ps. Profit, of course, you must always, otherwise there's no reason to run a business. Planet. Now you see why the whole sustainability agenda is high up, because we talk it through via ESG and CSR, right? There's two.
Yep.
But the third one is people's social purpose. Remember I said earlier on, this will affect all of us, including
and
us.
This is not people as in employees.
No,
this is
it's
people
society
broader.
at large.
Yeah.
Right. And I say I want to come back to this because I hear you use the words charity. I hear you use the word donate. The point I'm making is that this is not about charity. It's not about nice to have. It's not about good to do. This is about being a successful organization, needing to embrace understanding the three Ps and doing something about those three Ps. That is for your long-term longevity. And now you can see it's starting to change that narrative, because it's no longer about it's nice to have and maybe we'll get a sort of a Christmas present from Santa. No, this is about if you want your organization to be successful, if you want the planet to be successful, and you want our own personal lives to be successful, unless we achieve those three things in the right way, we're never going to get there. And this is why the Tech Sector Consortium is set up not as a charity in the sense that it's about donation, because just to give you an understanding about scale, right? As technology leaders, we help organizations to achieve whatever targets. They tend to be double-digit growth, 10x what you do, those kinds of numbers. Scale, these are the kinds of things that we do. But did you know that all this charitable stuff that we're doing in the UK to provide device donations to help some people, do you know what percentage are we solving per year? If I tell you it's less than 1%, would that be shocking?
Yes.
So if it's less than 1%, how do you think all this great effort that we're going to continue doing the same thing for the next 5 years, do you think we're ever going to get ourselves out of this situation?
What's the answer then, Freddie? What's the sea change? What has to happen?
So now you see why I mentioned the Tech Sector Consortium. The Tech Sector Consortium has been created to help to address this at scale. So I use the word scale a few times. So just imagine if we try to achieve a different number than the 1%. What if we aim for 5%? What if we aim for 10%? That's still small numbers, but we're going to start somewhere. What if at some point in the near future, we can achieve 50%? Then maybe we're getting closer to solving the problem. But otherwise, if we don't do something different, we're not going to get there. So this is why this approach is not about charity. This approach is about the tech sector creating a new channel of affordable devices that enables not any normal person to get it, but enables people who need them the most, who cannot afford them, the intermediaries that are supporting them. So part of the consortium will be intermediary partners. They're able to source these types of devices from the consortium so that they can get quality at quantity devices. Because today we don't have that. Right now, if you have a school that requires 40 laptops, guess what? They'll only get some, and they'll get a mixture, and some of them probably will not last a year. What we're saying is we need to solve the problem. If they need 40 type A laptops with this kind of spec, with Windows operating system and a 1-year warranty, that's what we're talking about. But we're doing it at scale. We're doing it at a price point that is affordable for the intermediaries such as regional and local authorities to be able to source that kind of resources rather than buy brand new products. A good maths here that I did during COVID was Daily Mail started a device donation campaign. It was very well known because it was you had David Williams and David Beckham who was the front of that campaign. They raised £10.6 million. Amazing, right?
Yeah. Put Beckham in front of anything, you're going to get some cash.
Correct. They ran 10.6. So you think the problem is solved just during COVID. But if you do the maths, in those days, even if you were to pay for the cheapest device, let's say at £350, which is impossible to get.
Yep. But
£350, you can only get 35,000 laptops with that kind of money. And the gap is, if we use Marcus Rashford free school meals number, because that's the only real number that people know. By the way, it's still not real because nobody truly knows the number, but because of Marcus Rashford, it was 1.7 million.
Oof.
So you tell me, right? After all these years, we're talking about millions of pounds that nobody has the money to go and do that thing. But if we take a different approach, whereby we're asking all organizations and tech professionals to be able to talk to your organization and say this: we are working together as a tech sector, coming together to maximize ESG for our organization, minimize e-waste for the sector, and to help UK PLC to achieve this at scale. What we're doing is we're asking you to contribute your devices via the consortium of network of partners to provide affordable devices. That is one way we can solve the problem. So we would like people to be aware of this, come and talk to me and my co-founder, co-director, Paul Finis, and we will help you to craft a 5-year plan, 2026 to 2030. Because when Paul set up the Digital Poverty Alliance, he put out this mission to end digital poverty by 2030. And you know what? He had a number of debates with a lot of people, not from him, but from others to him. Are you sure you can achieve that? And you know what? I will be frank with you. We don't think it's possible, but you need to have a stake in the ground to challenge people's ambition to do that. And now, because of that, guess what? The Tech Sector Consortium is now responding to say, look, we now have a way to help to achieve that.
So if someone's listening to this, and maybe it's worth just pausing and saying, who is the most influential person who might be watching or listening to this inside a company who could actually do something this afternoon? Who are those people likely to be, and what should they do?